This is quite a nice little intro. We'll ease in, talking rubbish. My name is Ciaran Thapar, and this is Mixy, a Desi Pub, a conversation with Hark1karan or Hark1karan, I should say, and Raj Dhunna. Do you want to introduce yourselves?
Yeah, I'm Raj. Collaborated with Hark on this book and a few others previously. So I did the cover for this, and then previously worked on Zimmer's and what was the other one?
Zimmer's, Bhangra and Mixy.
Oh yeah. So Bhangra, Mixy for this collection, and then Zimmer's for the previous, and also collaborate with Ciaran as well. So I do illustration, design work, and kind of like a bit of educational stuff as well. So yeah, that's probably how best I would describe myself.
And I'm Hark, or Hark1karan, photographer, artist. Published 8 books now, 7 of them self-published, and 3 documentaries with Alex, my friend. And yeah, that's where I'm at now.
Nice. We're here to discuss your latest book, Mixy, a Desi Pub. So we're going to be talking about pub culture, British culture, drinking, food, photography, community, and I think it's going to be interesting. But let's get into it. How do we all come together on this? So what's the connecting point for this?
For this book?
Yeah.
I guess the book, even before that, is just I guess the creative connection.
Yeah,
So
you're the plug. So what happened?
Yeah. Connector.
So first book, I binned when I launched that. You bought it, then I met you through that, and then Raj reached out because of the work as well, and then you just introduced people, like-minded people, and then Raj is obviously creative, you're a writer, and lots of other things. And I'm doing photography, so I think it just all works together. That you can write, Raj can do visual stuff. And then, yeah, and we thought that this makes sense because we've all been to the pub and there's a lot of overlap, I guess.
Yeah, so what is the pub?
The Great Western in Hayes in Harlington, so West London, not the one near Bromley.
Yeah, it often gets confused when I say to people sometimes I'm in Hayes, but that's just the station name, isn't it? But still, yeah.
People have got Ubers to the wrong Hayes, so yeah.
It has been known. And Raj, you live in West London, so you're local to the Great Western.
Yeah, grew up in Slough, and I think, Southall being very close and Desi Pubs being, I guess, kind of like normal. After football, you go to a Desi Pub, get a mixed grill, boys get beers, stuff like this. I'm actually not too keen on mixed grills myself, but I like going. I guess if someone says mixy, it just means you know where you're going. Like, it tells you about the destination. You don't have to get the meal. But so that's where, in Hayes with this particular pub is really local to me, and it's a place that you like going to as well, Ciaran.
Yeah, I do. It's interesting because the Great Western is owned and ran by a family who ran the Prince of Wales in Southall, which is the pub that my dad had been going to for decades.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. So that was always the default one that I knew about, that I'd link my cousin at, or I'd go with my dad, go to watch the cricket. And so the fact that it's basically the same formula applied in a much bigger space in a slightly different part of West London is quite interesting. But yeah, I only obviously went there I think the first time with you, Hark. Can't remember when, a few years ago.
I can't remember either.
Yeah. But I suppose what's interesting about it is it is a newer one. I know that lots of them are popping up around West London now, but it's a big space. What do you think makes it slightly unique compared to other pubs or other Desi pubs?
I would say, having gone to loads in the Midlands, the ones in West never had the same vibe as the ones in the Midlands. They're a lot more Desi with the music playing. Yeah. And this one kind of had that sort of more youthful vibe to it, I think, and with the music and the staff. And I guess, that's kind of it was nice to have that new space. I think it's just a bit bigger as well. Cause
Yes,
so it's
massive.
nice to have that space. And Prince of Wales is a bit more crammed and a bit more local, whereas that one's got a bit more vibe, especially for footy and stuff.
Yeah, it feels more like that pub is a bit more of a revolving door of people. Like there's locals there, but then if you're not local, you're not getting looked at sideways. You know, like that's I think that's why I like it. Whereas previously, I mean, I won't talk about too much, but the ownership prior to that, when I walked in, it was a bit booky. So like this time round, under this ownership is really nice because you get this revolving door of loads of different people, and people are just like going about their business still. You don't feel uncomfortable walking in.
To me, it feels like it's slightly more family oriented as well. Like you go in on a Friday night and there are families having having a meal there.
Yeah.
Whereas in Prince of Wales, I don't think you would have that as much. I think it's more inclusive.
Yeah, me and like my cousins, my sisters wanted to do rugby there. I weren't here, but you know, like that just says it, innit? Like do a meal there, tie your ruckies and stuff. Yeah, that's so yeah. Like to your point, it is a lot more. I don't know, just feels a bit safer maybe.
We're kind of already getting into this, so we might as well explain it for someone listening to this. What even is a Desi Pub? Because we're already making references to some of the characteristics that one might have through this one. Hark, do you want to give your take on what is a Desi Pub?
I think it's a pub run by Punjabis, basically, with the food, with the music, and that sort of vibe. But with like a fusion with like a standard British pub, I guess. It's like the best of both. I feel like it's also more for everyone. When I went to Handsworth, I saw more people mixed in Soho Tavern than I do in London. Like people don't really mix that much down here. Like when I went there, I'm like, yo, this is cool. There's all different working class people in here. There's also families in there. And like, it's just normal. It felt really normal, and no one cared what you look like. And I guess maybe that's quite a unique thing for Desi, like good, like not the rundown pubs, because there's obviously like a scale of Desi pub as well.
Levels, innit? Yeah.
But the Soho guys, they're like killing it a lot, and they've done a lot for that culture.
Yeah,
I would say.
And you've obviously referred to it already, and you refer to it in Mixy, the book itself. The fact that the culture of Desi pubs it obviously exists all over the country in different spots, but it's kind of rooted most significantly in the West Midlands. So do you want to just talk through that history briefly?
Well, I'm not an expert, but obviously I think where even in West London and the Midlands, men probably wanted to go out and socialise. I think it's just the Midlands is quite spread out. I was having this conversation with someone, like you don't think, oh, let's go to Birmingham for like one particular thing. It's like usually like the surrounding areas that make it what it is. And I think a lot of people need these places to socialise, and maybe the pubs weren't that welcoming, or they were getting run down or going to close down. So I think people just took it over and changed it into like, rather than a Asian men's working club, to like a pub, which is a bit more friendly. But I think it's just caught on, like the curry, like going to the pub, like it's like a Sunday roast. People go out for a Sunday roast now, right? Like if you don't want to cook meat at home, like with the grills and that smells, like you can just go out and get it. So I think that has spread the popularity. And the footy, like what Raj says, going to watch the football, no matter where you sit, there's a screen. So if you want to watch football, cricket, sports, after Mixy, after football, like it's like the perfect thing. So
because you'll probably get like a cricket lock-in as well for India, Pakistan, you know, stuff like this. It is sports oriented, which is cool.
Every time I went Midlands to see people and we wanted to socialise and tag other people along, it was always different Mixys. Everyone was suggesting different ones. So socialising led me to like all these different places, and it was just like part of life there. I guess. Yeah,
that makes sense. There's something interesting about the timing, I think, of Punjabis arriving in Britain in the 50s and 60s, and the country being in a state that was kind of rebuilding itself after World War II. And I think pubs played a big role where people could, had long played a role where people could go and organise and be with each other. And there are certain hot spots in the country where industry was big, and the West Midlands and West London were two of them, right? So there were factories where Punjabis could work in, and then they can go drinking afterwards, like you said. And something else that's interesting about, I think, around the Western and just Southall and Hayes generally, is that the canal's there. And if you look into it, a lot of those pubs started because a lot of the transport links going out in and out of London, both on the trains and on the canal, to transport goods and whatever during the Industrial Revolution, people would stop to have a drink and they would moor their boat. So there's like a mad history there that predates any mass immigration. But now it's like, I just find it fascinating that it's still being repurposed.
It's like the turning of hands.
Yeah. But they still, the joke thing about the Western is they've still got those portraits up on the wall. There's like a picture of like a woman leading a donkey down the street outside like some thatched house, and then like a portrait of some old school.
I do wonder what some of it is, or if it's like known or recorded, you know?
Yeah.
Because like you said, I just remember the one painting of that man. He's just there, quite grand, and then you look at the people sitting there. And now it's like opposites. Like the portrait of someone of like really high class. It looks like, you know, like almost royalty.
Definitely.
And then the people enjoying the food and stuff are like definitely not royalty in like the least insulting way, just normal people.
Yeah, I like to think about him actually being in that photo and like, what does this guy think about what's happened to this pub? People just playing pool and talking rubbish and having fun.
Yeah.
Hark, what made you create a book about this pub?
I think just all the work in general is just capturing different chapters of people's lives in the UK, and this just seemed to be quite a big one in terms of socializing, and quite unique to this part of like British Asian culture. So yeah, and it was nice that a new one had opened at the time, and I just thought it'd be nice to just capture that sort of vibe, and it's also a challenge, something new. Yeah,
because I suppose just picking up on what you just said, the way it slots into your other books, like you're talking about different chapters of your work. Just talk me through that. What does that mean?
So I think a lot of people generally are obsessed with identity and representation nowadays, and a lot of people just live in their life, and it's just good to just show those things happening live and present, and just showing how diverse people are, how different people are, and also their similarities to other people. And I think then just laying all of these stories out, people can kind of have a conversation and maybe have a look at what's going on. Something I didn't understand that I was doing, which people have fed back to me through the different things, like access and authenticity. So I was like, oh, this is just normal. I'm just doing like normal things that are normal to me. But then you realize they're not even normal to people within the community and outside, but people relate to pubs. So a lot of people that just like pubs and that sort of culture have bought the book. People that like Zimmers have bought the book for cars. So there's like a lot of layers to it, and I think it just brings people closer, and also like in a deeper way to accept who they are ultimately.
Yeah, agreed. And I think the link to Zimmers is quite clear. When you turn up to the Western, there's usually a few BMWs in the car park. And if you take a walk around those local streets, just like that part of West London, there's lots of BMWs in the streets, right?
You need a car park. Where if there's Asian people, they don't walk, so you just need a car park.
That car park needs to be bigger as well. It's teeny.
Yeah.
Considering how big the building is, I think that's what makes the pub itself actually quite unique as well. Just like you when you're coming up to it, it is like it kind of lights up the local area. It's like really
it's a
noticeable.
bit dull around there, but that roundabout, it's at a junction on the roundabout, so it does light it up. I think it's brought a bit of life back. Well, you can probably tell us about that.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, even just around that area is probably not an area that you'll be in unless you have a reason to be there. Like a lot of neighbourhoods, because it's just a through road to, to like a dual carriageway or something like this, and then it's just around the corner from Heathrow Goals where you can play football. But I think what happens is when you feel safe in a space, it just starts to transform itself, and the establishment doesn't have to do much. But even with the Western as well, like I saw them on TikTok the other day, like the Great Western. I was like, oh, this they're evolving. And I guess historically with like a Desi pub, it's like very traditional and people like it staying still in time. But the fact that these guys are on TikTok, like doing these trends and stuff, then it will get a new audience who just want food and think it's quite jokes, compared to, let's say, the customer who was there 5 years ago or 10 years ago, who might stereotypically be somebody who just wants no change. And now they're all mixing for a Mixy. But yeah, I think that's definitely what I've observed though over time.
Hark, from to be honest, either of you, to any moments spending time either in the Great Western or actually just in a Desi pub, are there any like moments that stick out for you that stick out for you for being funny or for being warm? Or
I guess all three of us can do this one. So yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
I feel like Raj has spent more time proximity.
yeah, I think so. But I guess like you meet a lot of people there, and Ciaran, you bring a lot of people there. Like it's cool, and I just kind of, I don't know, I'll just go there. I'll just every now and then. I don't know about funny or memorable, but I've never grown up in pubs in particular. Like I never went to pubs, never grew up in pubs. Even to this day, like I'll go to a pub for a drink, but I won't hang out there unless somebody has a birthday party or something. I've just not been in. So when I go to Desi pubs, which is still a pub, it does feel like a home away from home. And you can probably vouch for this one as well. You'll get people from the Punjabi community who'll go to a Desi pub and you won't see them in any other social gatherings, but they feel comfortable there. So this is a place where you can catch up with people that you don't necessarily see, like I said, like a pub, but culturally you have some people where alcohol is probably not the one, or, you know, like girls who won't drink alcohol at home, and just like all these cultural nuances, you can go there and just feel like you're just in this outdated Punjabi living room that everyone understands. And I guess that's probably my funny observation, where, like I said, not having that draw from a pub, which is like quintessentially English and British, but me being more comfortable with the fusion idea, because I know that when I walk in, there won't be any like side eyes or anything like this. It's just quite a nice thing.
I think that is super interesting, firstly, because I think it says a lot about third spaces and buildings that can become significant for us depending on our experiences of life and community and things. But also I remember, you know, you've told me about your experiences in other pubs.
Oh yeah, mad.
And I think the juxtaposition, the contrast of walking into a pub and feeling like you can't spend much time in there because it might not be safe for you.
Yeah.
On the other hand, walking into a pub and actually feeling the opposite of that, feeling like you really belong there. That's a mad contrast to have that.
But yeah, like I said, from the other experiences of pubs, as me like being a young man, I guess, 20s onwards, and reoccurring thing in a similar area as well, like neighbouring area. So to go into this one and then bump into old mates, see some current mates, see some old faces, and get that warmth is what I imagine it's like for a lot of English people who go to pubs, or a lot of people in London who go to pubs, or outside, just people who go to pubs and see their like versions of community in there and get the warmth.
Yeah, because I think this is where my experience is different, where I've grown up, obviously mixed heritage, and going to pubs with a blend of mates, to be honest, but definitely going to pubs with my white family, going for walks and then ending up at a pub. That was like standard. So I think for me, I've always like felt comfortable in some English pubs, but going into somewhere like the Western or Prince of Wales, or when I've gone to ones in the West Midlands, Desi pubs generally, it just elevates even higher for me. Like that idea, I genuinely feel like I can it taps into both sides of my identity. There's something that's very traditionally English there, which I also feel personally, and then there's also something British Punjabi, obviously, about that space, which I also feel personally. So
Yeah,
it really
yeah.
feels like it's a kind of architectural version of my identity whenever I
Yeah,
step into one.
that's
It's quite
sick.
mad.
Yeah, that's really nice though.
When it's a positive space, which I think actually the Western does a better job of doing than other places, which is why I'm glad you've documented it.
I think we can come back to it, but I feel like Mixies have influenced all this Indian gastro pub stuff in London.
Definitely.
Oh,
It's like
okay.
obviously like triple the price, but we can come back to that.
Yes.
They'll never say that though, but that's just the fact.
Yeah.
No, we can talk about that now. I think a really good example of one that I've eaten at, which is very nice food, is the Tamil Prince in Angel. It's like nice food, and it's in a pub, and it's in Angel. This is like the heartland of London pub, bougie pub culture. But the idea of like a Desi or an Indian pub as an idea, that these slightly more bougie versions of them are popping up around London now.
Yeah.
Serving much more expensive food.
Makes sense though, because those
Demographic.
kids are rich. The Asian kids are rich, and they want to go. They're rich, more affluent. Now people have, like, they're lawyers, doctors, and stuff, and they live in these areas.
Yes.
So they want to go out. They might not go to Hayes
Yeah.
because it's a bit long,
Yeah.
and then the market is also there for that experience. I guess that's kind of the reasoning behind it.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, somewhere like the Tamil Prince in Angel, an area like Angel or other parts of relatively central London where there's a lot of wealth, you've got, that local people living in those
Yeah.
townhouses and wanting to go for Indian food, and it is nice food there. But that is a very different... So someone said to me, like, so it's like literally a colleague today said to me, because I was telling them about this podcast and about like the book, and he lives in North London, and he was like, I've never been to one of these pubs, like, can you tell me where to go? And I was like, well, if you want to just take a little 5-minute bus down the road to an Indian pub and you want to spend more money, you could go to the Tamil Prince. It's nice there. But if you want to make a bit of a pilgrimage and go out west,
Yeah.
you should go to one of these spots,
Yeah.
So I think it involves that slightly more for someone that isn't already living in West London or aware of this pub culture.
Yeah.
It's a bit more of a pilgrimage you
But I
got to
think
go on.
also not to be missed though, like these Desi pubs are a bit rough and ready. Like it's not like you're going into a place that is like a restaurant, and these are just like, you have to make of it as you will. Like if you go in positively and you're very happy for an experience where you get really nice food, you can get good service, but you can't control who comes into the space because the price points are very affordable. Like you just have to take that on board. Like, and I guess that is the difference in it.
Very true.
And that's what any community brings, is like diversity in moods or personalities and stuff. So you don't know who's going to walk through the door, but that lottery of things is very exciting as well.
But I think in the Midlands, they're like 10 years ahead. So like if you go Red Lion,
I've
in
never
West
heard
Brom-
10 Midlands being
I
10
know,
years
but
ahead
for
in
Mixies,
anything.
it's like
crazy.
But with like the Red Lion in West
Yeah.
Brom, like you go in there and the decor's amazing, the service is amazing, there's so much space, and you can bring the family, and it has that experience without like you being ripped off.
So it's like the 2 in 1.
Yeah, but then obviously you can go Red Cow in Smethwick. It's a bit more like, it's like a standard, like pretty simple, basic pub.
Yeah.
And then you've got the different versions.
But I think that's kind of an echo of English pubs, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that goes back to your point about Gastropubs, is that this is another key bit of context for why Desi pubs have been able to thrive, I think, because the English pub is dying, generally, over the last 50 years. The only way that pubs are able to sustain themselves is by serving good food, which is why you've seen a rise of gastropubs, because profit margins on drinks is not going to cut it, because people can stay at home and drink a can of beer. If they're really broke, they don't have to spend £6 on a pint. So you've got to serve good food, which is why you've seen a lot of English pubs that thrive serve very nice, but in the end expensive food. And a lot of the ones that serve rubbish food don't survive. And I think that's where Indians come in, know how to serve a lot of good food.
Never considered it like this before.
It is kind of like a gastropub.
But even Weatherspoons, they're pretty good with their food, like, and they've had the curry club for like how long?
Yeah, that's true.
I think it's on Tuesdays, and it's not even like trash. Like, it's
It's not.
decent. it's probably microwaved, but it's like they had to do the food thing, and you're right, you can stay in a pub, and there's not many places in the UK where you can go and socialize just openly, like you go to toilet, oh yeah, let's meet here. So yeah, and I see a lot of people that don't drink and are also vegan and vegetarian, especially in like the Soho branch. They go in, they do a vegan mixed grill. So it is really like pulling everyone in.
Yeah.
And then they've got open one in Solihull in the countryside, and we went there. People were dressed up for
Yeah,
a Mixy, and I was like, "This is cool."
Yeah, I want to go to.
And the clientele was different, and you're like, "Okay, this," and you got table service there. So
bloody posh in the Midlands.
So you've got Handsworth, and then they've got one in Solihull and West Brom, and you're like, okay, they're covering all bases.
Do you think that why do you think that they're ahead in the Midlands in terms of?
They've just been doing it longer. That's all it is, I think.
Okay.
Yeah,
that makes sense. Should we get into like maybe talk about a couple of the photos in the book?
I've got a funny story if you want to hear it.
Yeah, let's do that first.
No, just we went up once, me and Dan, and maybe someone else as well. I had like a talk in Wolverhampton about one of the books, and then afterwards there was quite a few people, and we're like, oh, which one's the best Mixy? People were saying like Builder's Arms, that's the one everyone rates. But then my friend Ajit was like, yeah, there's one called Parkfield Bar and Grill. So there was quite a few of us, so we split up in cars. Dan went with my other mates, and it got it there. It's like terraced houses, but the main entrance is around the back. So Dan's pulled up earlier in it, and then he's like, they thought it was like a brothel or something. Yeah. And it looks bare run down. It's like, there's no pub here. Ox bought us some random place. We're gonna get like robbed or something.
Had like a red door or something.
So then I'm going in round the back in the car park, which is also mad as well, like behind the.
Where's this, Wolverhampton?
Yeah, Parkfield Bar and Grill, and it looks. You're like, even I'm like, where are we? You pull up on this like bare like dusty car park, and then you go in and the food's banging. Even Dan was like, I was worried when you brought us here, and then everyone was like, this is the best food, and it was proper. That's like if you're looking at Google reviews and TikTok, people don't like you're not gonna end up going in.
I can't lie,
but it's worth it.
This does not sound advanced.
But the food, when you go in there, it was banging. Yeah. Everyone was like, okay, yeah. But then they just don't care, because people just go.
I think to be fair, this what you're just describing speaks to what the kind of what makes it special to even go to the Western that Raj, you said about. Maybe you might not recommend if someone wants like a fine dining experience to go there, but if they're going to go there and bring a certain like openness to the experience, they'll have a good time. And that's actually why I've enjoyed going to the ones in the West Midlands I've been to. The more rough and ready ones, because you kind of just like take a breath before you walk in and be like, well I'm just ready for whatever happens now. It's going to be jokes. There is an inherent jokesness to like walking in.
Hello,
you know, guaranteed. You walk into the Great Western, you walk into the Prince of Wales, you walk into a lot of these places, something funny is guaranteed to happen.
Yeah.
Even if it's just a little way someone speaks to you, someone's drunk and they're talking rubbish. Yeah. Just like a little, I don't know, a remix tune that they'll play that takes you back. There's something that's like funny that's going to happen, and I think that's a nice part of it.
Yeah, I think so.
In Sportsman in West Brom, we had a lock-in, and then after the Champions League final, and then like the way they pour the mixer, so they don't even, it's like proper Desi, like they don't even ask you if you want a double or single. It's a double Jameson and a splash.
Oh,
and you're like, I'm not an uncle, like you need to like actually give me a proper like but they serving it to that clientele, and like that just shows that things are different. Like you wouldn't get that here.
No. And that, look, there's also maybe something to be said just about lifestyle, innit? Between the Midlands and here.
I think it's working class culture. Because if you go to a working class pub, like people order a shandy and like these drinks that are maybe not fashionable, but people are drinking them. Like most of the UK is drinking these in pubs around the UK. So there's like that synergy. Like it's like the people are the same. They're working class people. It doesn't really matter where they're from.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Because you've experienced it more than me, and this is the thing. But I've definitely spent time in the Midlands. A lot of my family's there. But that's probably the only difference I would make. Or the only observation I would make is that I wouldn't say pace of life, but the you know, like the idea of like what's readily available in the time and how much in the radius, I think is, yeah, I don't know if this is too abstract, but you know what I mean, like the Desi Pub within the radius is going to be very accessible, whereas in London you've got 10 or 15 more choices. Then you can probably get to the mixed grill after that, so like there's a lot more to do.
We got chicken shops everywhere, you know, like people want to
Yeah.
come to South London to eat Morley's. Like
Yeah.
it sounds dumb, but like, oh, we're in South, like let's eat Morley's.
Yeah,
We
of
wouldn't
course.
see
Yeah.
it like that.
You just made me think about Hark when you were talking about when we went up to spend an afternoon with Punjabi MC. Because we got there, we were like an hour early, went to a Desi Pub, got a mixed grill, then spent the afternoon with him, which was jokes, and then on the way back went to a different Desi Pub and got curries and naan.
I think I might have. I was doing some research. I was trying to remember the names.
Oh,
Of the
I'll
pubs.
see- Yeah,
I'll
yeah.
see-
One of them was about, one of them had the word monkey in it, I swear.
I think you're right.
The thing is,
What area was it?
Coventry.
Oh, okay.
yeah, Coventry. The thing is, he was drinking vodka Fanta Fruit Twist mix.
Oi, oi.
And I've never done an interview
That's
with an artist before where
Cheers.
I've joined them like that.
Okay.
So I'm trying to be cryptic, but yeah, the
So I've got the names.
journey on the way back was not very sober, basically.
I think it was called the Hungry Elephant Bar and Grill,
Yeah, not monkey, elephant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then the one on the way back was the Horseshoe Bar and Grill.
Were they nice?
The Horseshoe one, my friend Uppy from Coventry recommended that
Yeah.
one. The elephant one, that's like a proper,
It was massive.
done
was
up
it?
really like nice, like
Yeah,
a
it
proper
was
restaurant.
Bigger
That-
than the Western,
yeah, much bigger.
is it?
Yeah.
Like a Toby
But the
Carvery.
But
Yeah.
I was responding to the mixed grill was massive.
It was
as well. But I
massive.
suppose they do them. Yeah, it's different
Do
scale.
you guys like mixed grills? Do you like eating them?
Yeah, I enjoy eating them.
Yeah.
I don't think for me it's never going to be like 10 out of 10 food, but I
Yeah,
enjoy
yeah,
it.
yeah.
I think it's sociable. I think it's
Yeah.
like, especially if you've done exercise that day, I think it's a big source of protein. You can feel justified in just munching
Okay,
hard.
Yeah, I get you.
I'd say it depends where you go. Like
Mm.
Soho Oak, they do the crispy wings. They put the prawns on there. Everyone gets masala chips.
This sounds
like
nice. Yeah.
masala chips, like stuff like that.
Yeah,
Everyone,
yeah.
the classic.
A lot of people get mogo.
Yeah, more
I've
gore
never
and stuff
understood
like that. Yeah, so
Yeah. The cassava is not for me.
it's also a good sharing thing as well.
Yeah, it is.
Like sometimes
Yes.
there's been like over 10, 12 people on the table and you just order two and everyone just shares. it.
Yeah, that's why I
yeah.
think it's good.
Yeah.
It just struck me that there's obviously that initiative with Taraki, Mixy and Chill, no?
I don't know too much about that, to be honest.
Okay.
Yeah. But that's because they're just down the road. It's all in that same community.
Yeah. But I think I think it's just an interesting idea as an extension of what we were saying about people finding these Desi pubs a safe space. That there are initiatives. So the idea is that you can turn up, have a mixed grill, and just chat for men.
Yeah.
Like having, I think that's where it's like, on the one hand, these places they can be toxic spaces. They can be. There's alcoholism. There's like all sorts of raucous behaviour taking place. It might not be safe for women in there. On the other hand, pubs can be quite positive for you to go and just let loose and escape. And I think that for me, I kind of sense that always when I go to the Great Western. There's kind of the both extremes going on.
Yeah. I just wanted to bring that up as well because this was one of the things. So when we were looking at your book and thinking about what to call it, how it looks, all this stuff, and you was just like, I remember, if I remember this rightly, you referenced the Midlands, how everyone calls it a Mixy. And then I thought about it and I was like, even my cousin always says like, oh, we should get a Mixy. And then that was how the name came up, just like very simple. And you've got this knack of simplifying things.
And bringing
Kieran's
word,
nodding his head. This is in it. Is the knack of simplification is like a skill.
and you got to bring words into the lexicon, like just like make it a thing.
Mm.
That's how you make things a thing, innit?
Yeah.
Like Mixy is a thing
Yeah.
now. If you don't know what it is, loads of people don't know what it is.
Of course. Of course, yeah.
But when you know what it is, it makes sense.
But it's like slang, isn't it? Like
Yeah.
a lot of people don't know slang unless it's in like usage around them, and this is slang. It's short language for a mixed grill.
It's not, shall we get a mixed grill? It's like, let's go get a Mixy. Like,
Yeah.
This is much better.
Yeah, it rolls off the tongue.
And yeah, your cover is very striking, Raj. On the front of the book,
Oh yeah, cheers.
the bold Ferrari red.
Yeah. Well, initially I did a design, and it was a bit tongue in cheek, but I kind of did a design initially that was taking the piss out of like these new restaurants that pop up, and they look like they're high end or like mid range, like in a gastropub essentially, or like a restaurant. So I had this, hand rendered type that I did, and etc. And then it just didn't land that well with the composition that I wanted, because the size of the book, the orientation and stuff, and there was definitely an image that I wanted to use as well. So I knew all of these things, and then changed like the type afterwards, and it just felt a lot nicer, felt heavier. I don't know, is that like kind of how you feel about it?
What this current?
Yeah, like changing it helped.
Yeah, I think it just fits the mood of the photos and the lighting in the pub, and it like I think Raj mentioned the main thing. Raj gave feedback was on that it should be about the food needs to be present in there. So I think having that flame on the front kind of makes sense.
Yeah, because I do think the image is a bit ambiguous, and I quite liked that. That's the reason why I wanted to use it, because it's ambiguous. There is something happening where, like, typically a flame would maybe introduce the idea of life and just taste and all these things and gathering. So seeing that image, I just thought, if people didn't know what Mixy meant and they don't know what the flame maybe suggests, whereas people, if they do know Mixy, they'll know exactly what it means.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Or if people are familiar with a flame in a kitchen, they'll know it's about something food related, so Mixy has to have some sort of connection. But then just assuming that, like this very small community within the world knows about Mixy and the rest do not, I thought the ambiguity of it was quite cool.
Yeah, because it kind of then protects it a bit.
Yeah.
But then if it forces anyone engaging with it from an outsider to learn the word and the word's attachment to what they're seeing in the image. So I think it's like kind of protects it because it's ambiguous enough and it's maybe quite mysterious.
Yeah.
But I suppose if you know, you know.
Yeah. IYKYK.
Exactly.
Yeah, man. Quick. But with the flame as well, I thought it was cool because I'm more interested in the method or the process of everything, and I just thought it was better than choosing a plate of food that might look. This is like nothing to do with Hark's photography, more just like commentary on any food photography. Is you have to kind of like make sure it looks appetizing to everybody, almost like a portrait. People need to like the face in order to pick it up. People need to like the look of the meal to pick it up, and this just removes all of that. Because it isn't about if you like the plate of food or not, because they're different in every single establishment. It's more about just the process of it is going to be very similar everywhere you eat this thing. So hence why I wanted to make this hero image the hero. Yeah.
I also think about the future. I'm like, if someone in the future sees this, they're going to pick it up. That's why everything's in the future.
Yeah. Like tense wise,
because we look back at stuff, you're like, yo, they made that in 1960, like, and it's rated nearly like
that's true, yeah.
60, 70 years later.
Yeah.
It's like vinyl covers or
like good art.
Yeah,
will always be good art.
Yeah, and it's true, and that's how me and Hark basically collaborate. We have these conversations that like really spiral and they kind of go up and down, but the focus point is always the objective.
This cover was all Raj. Because you just trust someone, so you just let them do it.
Yeah, he did lead me to it, but then a lot of it is me being like, hey man, so I've been thinking, and then, he's just humouring me. And I'm like, okay, you're cool with this, yeah? And he's like, bruv, just do what you want. I'm like, yeah.
That's nice having that.
Yeah, it is.
That's
if
nice
I don't like it, I will be like, this is Butters.
Exactly.
Like,
yeah, exactly.
And that's not really happened.
Nah, it hasn't.
He just wanted to do the spine of the book. The guy's obsessed with doing spines.
Yeah. Like, just because when it's on the bookshelf, that's what you see, innit?
Yeah, it's gangster.
Yeah, that's it.
Bookshelf prestige.
Yeah. Shout out the bookshelves.
Yeah, we're about to get some. Anyway, we're getting sidetracked. I want to talk about a couple of the photos because there's a few in there that are just like really less predictable. The one that springs to mind for me, which is definitely my favorite image, is the pictures of the dub reggae event that we went to. I was there with you when you took those photos, and obviously that represents a sort of slightly adjacent local subculture of music. So do you want to just talk through that, Hark? Like what, who's in the image and what's going on?
So I think the night was West London Dub Club. So big up Pav who runs it and Project West London. And I think there's not many spaces to do the dub nights, which also happen in West London. And I think they just wanted to do it in the pub. Everyone knows each other. It gets the community together. And a lot of the local people that play in the sound systems were there that night. And Kula was there, who's like the leading figure in that scene. And he's on the decks. And there's a few prominent people within that scene. I can't remember everyone's name, but they were all there, and it was just like pumping, all vinyl, people chatting on the mic, and all you see is Kula's cap over the decks. I just like that stuff in it, so I just also capture things I like. But I guess maybe you can tell us more what you feel about that picture.
Yeah, well, what's interesting that also roots the picture of Kula in this book is that me and Raj were playing pool at the Western.
Oh, is that him?
Yeah.
Okay.
We were playing pool at the Western, and there was just this kind of... There was a few people watching us play pool. They were obviously waiting for the table. And there was a guy who was stood to the side with a cap on, with his wife and his two kids. Yeah. And they were just watching us. Very politely, there was no, like, trying to move us on from the table so they could play or whatever. It was just watching us really intently and like nodding at good shots and stuff like that, and sort of like just being blessed. And then, but we didn't speak to him. And then a few, I had recognized him before. I'd seen him before, but I didn't know where from. And then turned up at the next dub night at Brook House, and Kula was obviously the guy running it. And I remember Hark, you saying he like said hi to me because he recognized me from the pool table, and you were like, oh, how do you know Kula? I was like, I don't know Kula, but I play pool next to him. So like my point being is that it's actually quite a nice little, and I now know Kula and chat to him and always hail him up when I turn up at these dub nights, and I sometimes see him at this pub. So I kind of feel like the space and the music together has allowed me to sort of find community. Like it's actually through also my friendships with people like yourselves, but like that connection. So the photo of Kula is it's quite powerful for me. Kind of represents this like journey of the last few years of going there. Usually go there before going to Brook House, actually, because it's just a nice little tradition.
Yeah. And Vedic Roots had the sound system that night. Which I just remembered.
Yeah.
But it is social. I don't end up listening to the music because you just end up chatting to people. Because a lot of people are in the same room at these things.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
What's your favourite photo in the book, Hark?
You know what? Let Raj go, because
Right.
I can't pick the one of you in there because Raj is in the book.
I'm there.
With his Liverpool
It's
kit.
lengthy.
Yeah, I think I've got that. Anyway, I'm blushing if you can't. Yeah, off camera. I think there's two that I want to bring up, but probably spreads more than photos. But basically, there's ones of basically all the bar staff. I think as portraits are sick, like that sequence of stuff, and just I think that spread is really cool. And then the other spread, actually there's two other ones, sorry. So there's that of the portraits. There's the other one with a portrait of a guy and then he's got tattoos on his hands. You know the one?
Oh yeah, the white guy.
Yeah. So that one I like, and then the other one is one of the waiters bringing out a mixed grill with bare steam. And basically all these three photos I think are Hark coded. So you'll see the same versions of the photos in all his other projects. So you'll see the details of marrying things together. Like in Zimmer's, there's one that I went like, that I was a bit obsessed about, and then I just chilled out a bit. But it was the one with the guy who was wearing like these modja, the shoes, and then the rims on the next sequence. And basically you see that, and then you just learn a lot about the person without seeing their face. But whereas with the portrait of the face and the hands, you get to know more about the character, and he doesn't have to frown or smile, etc. You just get to know a bit more. The portraits of the bar staff is, again, historically what I think Hark has done. Portraits, and they're just quite like neutral. You can see that the person feels comfortable. And then the action shot of someone bringing out the mixed grill. There's action shots in every other one of your projects. The action just changes. So those three I really like, because that brought me back into it being your project and not just a project.
I thought of what you just said about the hand tattoos. I think that's mad interesting, because it's a white guy with hand tattoos.
Smiley face. It's a smiley face or something.
Let me show you it, because
But it makes me think about Hark, because you got photos in your book Grassroots of the uncles who hang out at Smethwick allotment with hand tattoos, and there's a mad history of hand tattoos in Punjab, because hand tattoos were given to children at partition to identify their religion. And there's lots of people that then got hand tattoos to like signal their identity. So I think the fact that obviously that's a whole historical context, but the fact that Hark just decided to take pictures of hands is interesting.
In the earlier, I think towards the start, just after the portraits, the uncles and the chef, they've got the Scorpio tattoo and the tiger tattoo as well.
It's these close up of details that are reoccurring in your work, basically. Like you said with the allotment work, I didn't even think of that one. But yeah, there's a lot of focus on the hands, but it goes together with like allotment work. But it's a detailing of more than just a person's face to represent the person.
I think as a photographer, you kind of just try to get details of things that make people unique and different.
You do. A lot of photographers wouldn't.
Yeah.
It's just style, isn't it?
Yeah. But I think a lot of people are cool and they're stylish, and they're the ones that don't try to be. I also think normal people are what culture is. It's not individuals. It's the people that are doing. The culture is this. The people that are there, the working there, that are going there. They're the culture.
Yeah.
It's not someone selling you something.
Or is it you participate?
And it just gives people visibility. And those people don't want visibility or don't care, but they trust you, and they appreciate it in the end, and they value that they were part of these stories. It's about just respecting the people in there, innit?
Yeah.
Because you're in the space, even though I'm part of the space, and it's my space as well, but it's everyone's space, I guess.
Talking about people, there's quite a lot of people you wanted to sort of shout out.
And I think it was just like a lot of the places we spoke about earlier,
Right, okay,
and like
so
up north, like in the Midlands, and just like it is all about community, and a lot of the stories come from community, and just just people saying let's go here, and over time you're like, oh, hold on, there's this thing is going on, and you're part of it, and other people are part of it, and that's when you're like, okay, this is a thing that deserves a story. I think
I think you asked us, you did ask us, what is the thing that maybe joins us together, and you saying the creativity and stuff and introductions, but what I would potentially say to that as well is I think all three of us and our wider friendship groups and our history also suggests this, is that if we have a level of care about something, we unknowingly, or this is just how we behave, just try not to exploit it. Like, we're not going in and using it for what it is without participation. And if we're just focusing on Mixy, but you can think of loads of things like it could be the culture, the subcultures that you're invested in to lead you up to where you are today, and Mixy being one of them, is that there's participation in the space, and even through the stories that you guys are saying, it's not, you didn't just shoot it the first time you went in. You didn't just go in once and be like, this will be a sick project, and then that's it, your stories stop at 2 visits to the pub. And I know it sounds a bit trivial, two visits to the pub, but this is like, this book is a body of, kind of consideration, and me working with you mulling over how to do it, and it came over like a long period of time, is it doesn't feel exploitative, and that's what I would say about you two as well. Just you go into spaces and you help cultivate it, and not like just dismantle it by just seeing it trivially.
Yeah, agreed. And I think it collaboration becomes much easier when you can trust that the other person is moving on a similar with similar purity or intention.
Yeah.
And I think it also stands apart, and I think this is what I respect a lot, especially about Hark's work, and I've learned a lot from it, is honouring that participation and honouring that idea that you're not doing it for anything other than making good art, and you're making something to like represent something rather than pandering to an audience. You know, I think that there's power in that.
Yeah.
I think there's real power in that. But what you just said about participation is definitely true. I think basically, I think a lot of culture now exploits, doesn't it? And I think this is we are. I think all three of us, in our own way, are proactively trying to really push against that in our own work.
Imagine not wanting to participate. It's dead, isn't it? Like, it's so dry just to be like on the bench all the time.
Yeah, or skimming off the top. That's how I see it. So people just float around skimming off the top of stuff, making lots of money.
Yeah.
That's what a lot of people are doing. That's how online culture often works. Yeah. Especially, you know, with things like food, TikTok and...
Yeah, actually, if you look at... Anyway, I just... That just came to mind because after the conversation we've had and me just being like, well, actually, you guys have been to a lot of pubs, but we talk about it in passing. But this is like, just feels a bit more honed in. So that was the one thing that I just wanted to bring back. Essentially,
yeah. For someone that has generously sat through this whole conversation with us, and they've got to this point, what can they do to, you know, what's the call to action? What's the wisdom that Uncle Hark's gonna drop?
I don't know what the question is.
For the listener,
speak to the listener. They're okay. So someone's just sat and listened to this whole conversation. I'm just interested in, you know, what can people take away? What can someone go and do? They can go buy the book. They can support. They can try and find their local Desi Pub, visit one, bring a good vibe.
That's hard to call to action. I don't know what. Yeah, I guess going to a Desi Pub if you can would be the best thing to do.
What would you order?
What would I order?
I'd tell someone to get chili paneer. Like chili paneer, you can get a mixed grill, take it or leave it.
And then Hark will tell you that it's going to make you fart.
Gas you up. I'll gas you up.
Yeah, maybe.
You know what?
That is what he would do. There's not a maybe.
On the mixed grill, you don't like everything, do you? I'm not a big fan of like everything, I would say. Like, I would get Amritsari fish.
Yes.
Yeah.
Masala chips.
Yeah.
Not the ones soaked in the sauce, like the ones that are
chili chips. Yeah,
chili chips.
Ones,
yeah, get them mixed up. The tikka.
Yeah.
Tandoori chicken, like that's like the standard sizzling with the lemon.
Yeah.
If I'd probably crispy wings and prawns.
Oi.
That's a long list of favourites.
Yeah, sound like a Thai pub. They're yummy as well.
Making me hungry though.
Then you need the mint yogurt, obviously.
Yeah.
Maybe one naan.
And papad.
But the thing is, because it's protein, you get full up quick.
Yeah, you do. What would you order?
In a Desi Pub?
Yeah, like if you was to recommend an order to someone else.
I mean, I think going there and getting a mixed grill, just to have the experience. Cause I think one thing about a mixed grill is that you order it and then you can hear it before it even gets there.
Yeah.
That's unique.
Yeah, it is actually.
So I'll order one of those and then I'll probably go some like veg mains.
The sizzle is crazy.
Makhani dal or something like that, just so you can just give your belly a bit of a rest from meat.
Yeah.
That's a mad way to finish this recording. But
tactical orders.
Yeah, exactly. What about you?
Chili paneer. Yeah, and I'd probably get a mixed grill if people were there, and I'd have like 2 or 3 wings. That's it.
Yeah.
If I go by myself, when I was doing the book, I'd just eat before I start. I'd probably just have like a curry and a naan. Yeah, that's enough.
Yeah. Because everything on the menu is good. Typically, that's the thing. It's just like that is the staple because you're going with a group. But everything on the menu is like arguably better than your local Indian restaurant. That's like if you're just like in the suburbs and stuff and whatever, but it is good food.
And good drink.
If people want to go in West London, I don't, off the top of my head, Prince of Wales, Great Western, Scotsman, African Queen. I think there's a few more that I just can't remember.
There's a few more in Hounslow as well. There's one in Hayes that's literally called I think it's called Panjabi Pub.
Is it?
I think so. And I think there's Five Rivers now as well. I think there's one
Yeah.
that's open called that. Anyway, they're popping up.
And one near North Road, near Shanshaw's, opposite that one. I think
Mm.
that's owned by the same people.
I'd probably go Shanshaw and get Bronte instead.
If
Thank-
a Desi Pub started doing Bronte, it's game over.
Yeah, it's a wrap.
It's done.
Yeah, I
We're-
think Prince
we're
of
gonna
Wales
be
did.
done. I'll be sleeping in the pub. In the pub.
Amen. We've run out of time, but yeah, thank you both, and thank you, listener, for spending your time with us.
Cheers. Thanks.
Thanks.
Sick.
Lovely. Cheers, lad.
Well done.
Nice. That was
Done.
Yeah. I'm mad hungry.